Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, a massive lead for the Bongbong Marcos-Sara Duterte tandem in the partial and unofficial tally. Comelec says the decision on the remaining disqualification cases against Marcos may be out today, but Senator Franklin Drilon says the ruling will come too late. And the poll body plans to retire the refurbished vote counting machines after the May 2022 polls. Comelec Commissioner George Garcia joins us live. Former Senator Bongbong Marcos thanked his supporters for his wide lead in the 2022 presidential race, but he cautioned them to continue being vigilant until the counting is done. Marcos and his running mate, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, are both leading by wide margins in the presidential and vice presidential races.
Hindi pa tapos ang bilangan. Marami nang nagsasabi na tapos na, pero hindi pa talaga. Antayin natin hanggang talagang maliwanag, mag 100% ng pagbilang. Hanggat tayo ay mag-celebrate o mag-isip na tapos na.
Vice President Leni Robredo is not conceding just yet, but she urged her supporters to respect the outcome of the polls and to stay the course on a movement that saw an outpouring of volunteerism.
Wala akong planong abandonahin ang mga bagay na habang buhay ko nang ipinaglalaban. Tuloy ang trabaho ko para iangat ang buhay ng mga nasa laylayan. Tinatawag ko kayong samahan ako dito at sa iba pang mga laban. Kakailanganin ng bansa ang inyong patuloy na pakikilahok. Hindi lang ukol sa anumang kahihinatnan ng bilangan at halalang ito, kundi sa pagsusulong ng katarungan, ng karapatan, ng dignidad ng Pilipino sa mga susunod na panahon.
And now let's bring in our senior correspondent and anchor, Ruth Cabal, from the PPCRV Command Center at the University of Santo Tomas, where parallel and an unofficial count is underway. Ruth, what is the latest there?
Pinky, just a few minutes ago, we saw a new set of volunteers come in. They include nuns, Girl Scouts, among others. They will be tasked to manually encode election returns, or ERs, which contain the results from the precinct level. As of this time, according to some of the volunteers here, several sets of ERs are arriving, but we are still waiting for the official announcement as to which areas these are from. What we know so far is that the ERs from Manila were received here past midnight. As for the parallel count, as we've been reporting, as of 8 a.m., up to 96.84% of votes have been transmitted to the Comelec transparency server. Those are the numbers we're seeing on the big screens here. These are just partial, unofficial results because Congress, convening as the National Board of Canvassers, will tally the certificates of canvass of votes for President and Vice President and officially proclaim the winners. The Comelec, meanwhile, is in charge of canvassing the votes for senators and party list groups. Aside from the parallel count, as we mentioned, the PPCRV is also tasked to validate or verify that the electronically transmitted results match the physical election returns. PPCRV volunteers deployed nationwide received the fourth copy of the ERs from nearly 107,000 voting precincts and bring them here physically for manual encoding. Piki, so yung point natin dito is nagtataka siguro yung ating mga kababayan kung bakit parang natatagalan itong counting ng PPCRV in terms of yung election returns. Yan yung mga bilang mismo sa mga presinto, Pinky. Iba yan doon sa electronically na tinatransmit kasi yung mga papel, kung nakikita nyo kanina kasi may nag-e-encode yung binanggit ko bagong batch na ito ng volunteers. Kanina nung dumating tayo ng madaling araw, kung mapapansin nyo kung meron pa tayong video yung parang mahahabang papel, parang resibo yan. So yun yung mga ERs na galing sa mga presinto, dinadala yan physically dito, bale hard copies yan. Tapos yan yung bilang na ini-encode sa mga computers. Lahat ng mga presinto na may ERs kailangan dalhin dito physically, kaya yung ibabang gagaling pa yan sa probinsya, Pinky.
So, Ruth, pakipaliwanag sa amin, ano? So, sabi mo nga, yung ER ay kailangan dalhin physically dyan. Tama, ano? Sa UST. Pagkadala dyan,
Yes.
i-encode nila yan manually. Tapos, tsaka lang ba lalabas yung kanilang numbers? Ganun ba yon?
Kasi ang purpose talaga niyan ay para makumpara natin yung tinatransmit electronically. Yan yung nakikita natin na resulta ngayon, 'di ba? Dito sa transparency server, yung bilang natin, no? Yung sinabi natin na more than 90% na nga. Tapos i-compare yan kasi presinto to eh. Kumbaga parang nakatotal na yung mga electronically transmitted. Itong mga nasa papel, yung mga nasa ERs, presinto. Naalala ko, I was reading reports from 2019 elections, more than 20 days, nag-encode pa yung mga volunteers ng PPCRV dito para doon sa election na yan. Kahit yung ibang mga senador nung panahon na yun na proklama na, nagpapatuloy pa yung manual encoding nila. Kasi ngayon parang manual audit na yan. Ang purpose yan is really to verify and validate para ma-ensure na accurate yung results ng election, Pinky.
Yung mga volunteers, Ruth, kasi I remember bago pa nung eleksyon at even nung araw ng halalan, nananawagan yung PPCRV ng mga karagdagang volunteers. Any information kung sapat na ang mga tumutulong dyan sa PPCRV sa UST?
Hindi ko pa nalalaman yung updated na information pero tama ka, meron silang panawagan for additional volunteers. Ito kasi bagong set to, actually kanina kaka-announce lang nila na magkakaroon ng orientation. Pero since nga konti pa lang yung dumarating dito, no, hindi pa natin malaman kung ilang areas. Ang official announcement pa lang nila kagabi na may dumating from Manila tapos sa Balintawak ata padating, parang gano'n. So kukunti pa lang. Pero kasi baka mamaya sabay-sabay magdatingan ngayon yung ER, so kailangan talaga ng maraming volunteers. But so far, nakikita ko halos mapupuno na yung mga laptops dito ng volunteers na sinabi nga na magkakaroon na sila ng orientation in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot. Our senior correspondent and anchor Ruth Cabalver reporting to us live from the PPCRV Command Center in UST in Manila. Now let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Commissioner Garcia, welcome to the source. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Good morning, Ma'am Pinky, and good morning to all the televiewers.
Okay, sir, umpisahan na po natin yung mga VCMs. Ilan ho ba talaga in total ang nagka-aberya?
When you say aberya, Ma'am, nagka-problema and not necessarily replacement, 1,800 more or less, 1,819. Pero yung mga subject of replacement as of 2 o'clock the other day, kahapon po, ay 52 as nung nagbagagabi na mga 200 na-replace po lahat yun, napalitan po lahat ang mga vote counting machines. Yung pong ating mga SD cards, more or less mahigit 100 po ang pinalitan ng mga SD cards po natin. So meaning to say, when you say nagkaroon ng defect at naging defective yung machine, maaari nagkaroon lang po ng problema sa kanyang scanner, nagkaroon ng problema sa pagpasok ng mga balota, nagre-reject po siya ng balota. But all of these were adjusted and at the same time naayos po lahat simply because we have technicians sa ating po mga polling places.
Are you saying all were adjusted, Commissioner? Lahat po?
Yung pong mga subject of yung mga repairs, small repairs lang can be done in the precinct level. Yun naman po hindi kaya, dinala po lahat yun, ma'am, sa ating po mga repair hubs. At definitely yung po mga talagang hindi na pwedeng gamitin ay pinalitan po natin ng mga contingency machines po natin. We have 1,900 contingency machines and therefore po habang dinadala doon at pinapalitan, ang ginawa naman po natin sa mga precincts na merong papalitan ng mga machines, pinayagan po natin na makaboto ang mga botante. Kaya lang po, hindi po nahuhulog sa makina, nilalagay lang po pinagpapatong-patong front of the teachers, the electoral boards.
Right, Commissioner, which actually became a problem to a number of voters because sila po, ang gusto nila, sila mismo magpasok ng kanilang balota doon sa VCM. Okay, I just want to make sure and clarify this one point. Lahat ho ba, you're saying kasi most of the VCMs, issues, concerns with the VCMs were resolved one way or another. If they weren't resolved, what happened was pinaboto po yung mga botante pero iniwan na lang po nila yung kanilang balota at hindi na po sila ang nakapagpasok nito sa VCM. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Until dumating yung replacement machine o yung machine na pinaayos po natin.
Opo, hindi, kasi meron talagang areas na hindi po dumating yung replacement VCM. Idagdag ko na rin, sir, at yung replacement na SD cards.
Yes, ma'am. Ang protocol po natin, and yung ginagamit natin protocol since 2010, ay kung hindi makadating kagad ang makina o yung mismong SD card, yung pong kabilang machine po kasi ng ibang presinto, pwede po kasing gamitin yon. Yung po yung plan, yung po yung protocol C. Yung protocol 1 is technician, ang 2 ay dalhin sa repair hubs, and number 2 ay palitan din, and then yung pangatlo po is yung gamitin yung machine ng kabilang presinto.
Yeah, but using the VCM nung isa pang presinto might be difficult. Maybe kaya nandyan po siya sa the list of priorities because as we already know, clustered po itong mga precincts. All right, Commissioner, I just need to take a very short break. I still have a lot of questions. We will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines, and still with us, Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Sir, so let's talk about the problems of the VCMs. So in totality, concerns with VCMs that totaled about 1,800. Okay. Doon po sa Teachers Village East, our correspondent was there, Tristan Odalo, and he said this is what happened. 6 a.m. po, may pila na. And then it was found out that 2 out of the 3 VCMs were broken. So dalawa sa tatlo. Pumunta daw po yung technician doon at 9 a.m. Nung naayos, ang sumunod naman daw po yung SD card corrupted. Tapos, nangyari po ito until voting closed. Naghintay daw sila ng SD card, supposed to be from Santa Rosa. But as of last night, sir, none arrived. Let's listen to that exchange early in the morning.
Sandali lang po! Kami naman! Kami po! Saglit, sir! Sir, saglit! Kasi, sir, nagagalit kayo, nagalit kami. Kanina pa nag-aantay yung mga tao. Sir, yung Comelec ang gusto namin magsalita! Hindi kayo! Comelec! Chairman ka ba? Chairman ka ba? Bakit nagpapaka-strict doon sa 7?
Okay, Commissioner, let me correct myself. That was about 6 p.m. last night. Ano ho ba nangyari? Ba't hindi dumating yung SD cards hanggang nung gabing yon?
Yes, ma'am, because sa ating pong protocol din, yung lahat ng mga SD cards will have to be repaired sa ating pong mga technical hubs. In this case, yung technical hub po natin ay naandyan po sa Santa Rosa. And yung mga technical hubs po natin nationwide, ang nagmaman po niyan ay ang DICT at ang DOST personnel. Ang Comelec po is just there to provide logistics and support. Pero sinigurado po natin ng DICT at saka DOST yung po magmamando niyan. Kung ano man po yung nangyari specifically dito sa nabanggit po niyan ninyo, ako po wala akong personal knowledge doon sa kung ano nangyari, pero I'm fully aware dito po sa naging problema kagabi because yun na nga po, lagi po tayo may constant communication with our media personalities and reporters.
So, do you have any update kung napalitan po yung SD card doon sa Teachers Village East?
Yes, as of kanina parang ang nadinig ko sa aming executive director na palitan yung pong SD card na yan na ipadala po, and I'm going to verify immediately after this interview yung veracity of that information.
Okay. But ang tanong ho, bakit ho kaya magtatagal ng ganon? Okay, fine sir, you're saying that sa pagdating sa SD cards, DICT po ito, that's basically what you're saying, no? And DOST, opo.
Yeah.
So, to blame, is it right to say to ask the Comelec to answer this would be barking up the wrong tree? Hindi ho dapat kayo ang sagot dito kundi ang DICT at DOST?
Ay hindi ma'am, hanggang we have to rely on the principle that the box will have to stop sa commissioner election. In the final analysis, it will always have to be the Comelec that will have to make the final explanation of what really happened. It's not about the DICT or the DOST.
Opo.
It's really about what administrative process had these SD cards had undergone in order to ensure a smooth and immediate replacement. Pero kung nagka-problema pong ganyan, we really have to find out bakit, saan nagka-problema.
Oo, pero the question siguro, sir, is bakit nagtagal ng ganon ang replacement ng SD cards? That's just one area.
Pasensya naman, but I will have to find out kung paano at saan nagsimula yung pangyayaring yun talaga. Somebody is in charge of this, and therefore we will have to look into this deeply.
And the person in charge, for example, in that area would be who?
Meron po kasi kaming tinatawag na steering committee. Hindi naman siya yung responsible, but the steering committee is the one in charge of all the preparation for the computerization of the election. And likewise, we have also our information and technology department, who is actually in charge of the VCM, including the mga SD cards, yung mga configuration and testing ng mga SD cards before. So more or less lahat ng grupo na yan is actually in charge of everything, including our CEMAC. We have our operation center. Kung yan ba na parating kaagad yung problemang yan, and at the same time, ano ang ginawang aksyon ng aming operation center para ma-remedy kaagad yung situation, madala kaagad at maibalik yung SD card na yan.
But I guess, no, Commissioner, that's the thing. It needs, if there are so many, you have a steering committee and other groups that are supposed to look into problems, ni ho ba? Pinaghandaan po ito ng Comelec. In fact, the Comelec was saying you are 100% ready, all systems go. I know that I'll go into the numbers later, 107,000 vote counting machines versus what you said, issues of about 1,800. Again, the Comelec saying maliit itong persentong to. But idadagdag ko na rin, President Corazon Elementary School at 8:30 p.m., wala pa rin yung replacement SD cards. Voters were still waiting for this. Bakit daw hindi napalitan kaagad? Pangalawa po yun. Pangatlo, Northview Clubhouse Precinct also in QC, 10:34 p.m. Commissioner, still no replacement of 17 SD cards. Voters refused to go home. With what you've told me na merong steering committee and the like, no, it still begs the question, hindi naman po malayo ang QC relatively, no, to Santa Rosa. Hindi po siya nasa Visayas, hindi din po siya nasa Mindanao. It still begs to be answered. Bakit ho kaya hindi napalitan kaagad? And what do you say to the voters na talagang ayaw pong umalis doon sa mga presinto?
That is correct, ma'am. That's the reason why, again, we have to go deeper into that question and answer that question really. And at the same time, we'd like to really apologize doon sa mga botante po natin na nagtiyaga at nagpakahirap and the inconvenience that itong mga replacement SD cards and yung mga for repair na mga VCMs had done to them. Definitely, wala naman po may gusto talaga nito, but just the same, we'd like to greatly apologize.
What would be, Commissioner, the logical explanation if you could help us understand why there were problematic vote counting machines, problematic SD cards when there was this final testing and sealing? What happened along the way?
Yes, the final testing and sealing is not only to ensure that there will be no repairs that will be done on the on election day on the VCMs and the SD cards, but the most important thing about the final testing and sealing, ma'am, is to ensure na mag-zero siya. Yun ang number one. Number two, na magiging operational na lahat ng machine. And unfortunately, hindi naman po talaga porket naging maayos ang final testing and sealing natin, pagdating na mismo ng D-Day, magiging maayos din talaga yon. And that is really, this is really an unfortunate incident. Hindi namin ina-expect na magkakaroon ng ganito. But just the same, sabi nyo nga po rin, maaari hindi ganun kadami yung naapektuhan na ito. Napaka-small yung percentage kung 200 yung replacement VCM namin na ginawa. But may nagka-problema pa rin po. And we will have to again go deeper into this so that this will not be repeated again in the next election.
I understand what you're saying, but the point of final testing and sealing is to assure at, I guess, 100% that during election day, these VCMs work. And during election day, these VCMs, a number of them did not work. Let me repeat my question, sir. What could have happened along the way? Was it even a probability sa Comelec na may posibilidad talaga na hindi ito gumana? Kasi sinasabi nyo nga, zero. Kailangan pag sinubo yung balota, pumasok po yan. Pero yun po yung naging problema. Ayaw po pumasok ng balota, nagkaroon po ng paper jam, nagkaroon po ng corruptible SD cards. What could have been a logical explanation, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Aside from the human factor, iset aside natin yon. Kasi nga sabi nyo nga, kinakailangan magkaroon ng logical explanation. The logical explanation really is because these machines are really old. We have been using that since time immemorial. We have not replaced these machines. We asked Congress for budgetary requirement so that we can purchase or lease new machines, pero po unfortunately, and records would show na hindi po nabigay sa amin yung nire-request natin. And so these old machines will have to be refurbished and will have to be used. Siyempre po technology yan, and kahit naman po anong technology, as we go on and as we go on with several election, talaga pong because of the age, talaga pong magkakaroon ng problema.
Okay, again, we need to take a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Sir, balikan ko lang po yung sinabi niya before he went on a break. Sabi niyo po that hindi kasi nabigyan ng budget for the new VCMs. Correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am. That's true.
Okay. And sinabi niyo nga po, luma na ho kasi itong mga VCMs na to. Knowing that, Commissioner, and I know kakapasok niyo lang po sa Comelec, nagkaroon ho ba kayo ng kaba na ilan talaga sa mga VCM ay hindi gagana? Kasi kayo na po nagsabi na luma ng mga ito and with technology always evolving.
Yes, ako personally wala po ako dahil bago nga ako. Pero nung nagpa-practice ako, yun yung mga question ko. Pero nung pong pagpasok ko, yun po yung kasi yung unang inalam ko, I called for the ITD personnel and all our personnel involved sa mga machines and our system. At yun po yung kauna-unahan kong inalam because I had been an advocate even before, of changing the system, of changing etc. But I proved myself wrong because I was satisfied with the explanation given to me and such other documents that was provided to me that indeed these machines will be running perfectly on election day.
What is the explanation that they will run perfectly, sir? If that's something you can answer briefly. Because
Yes,
it's a concern If you were saying that luma na kasi itong mga to, at dahil nga sa teknolohiya, and then you're saying that you were pretty sure that everything will be okay. But it's not. It wasn't.
Yes, ma'am. Because meron po kaming refurbishment contract and medyo malaki-laki rin yung refurbishment contract na yan. And this happened before our appointment. And all of the machines were tested and undergone refurbishment. At the same time, meron po kasi tayong mga TEC certification, Technical Evaluation Committee certification, which is in accordance with Republic Act 9369, yung ating batas. So if without any certification, then you cannot proceed with using the machines, meaning it had undergone the highest test possible based on what the law provides. And nakapasa po kasi siya. And therefore po, kaya po nagamit nila mga makina na yan.
Okay. Commissioner, also just one more thing doon sa mga election paraphernalia. Some people were saying that the Comelec has a budget of about 26 billion pesos. Yet, kahit po yung mga sealed boxes for receipts, ang ginagamit daw ay mga do-it-yourself carton boxes. Doon po nilalagay yung mga resibo. What happened there, sir?
In what particular area, ma'am, if I may, yung merong nagkaganon po na
sa carton boxes.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Sir, there were a few of those. I'll get back to you on that just in a little bit. Election results, we have 3 minutes left. Ito po, please explain dun sa mga nagtatanong, ang tagal daw dung replacement ng VCM and SD card, pero ang bilis daw ng transmission. I'll give you the floor, sir. Please, could you answer that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am Piggy, it's like this. What happened in 2019 and 2016, yung naging problema natin. In 2019, naging problema natin the 7-hour glitch. We learned from that experience, and because those experiences, we improve our system. We corrected yung naging problema, yung sinasabing sa Tagalog natin, nabulunan, hindi nakakapagpadala kaagad ng result sa transparency server, papunta sa media server. Kaya naman po kahapon, napakabilis from the precinct, napadala po kaagad. And this is one thing that may perhaps those who are doubting yung nangyaring result kahapon, this is one way by which you can verify. As what was pointed out by Ma'am Ruth Cabal kanina,
Opo.
the PPCRB is checking the election returns as printed by the machines. And the way to check whether the transmitted results received by the PPCRB, the citizens' arm, including the media, ay i-verify po yung election returns taken and received from the precincts. Compare po yung hard copy as against the transmitted result. And until today, ma'am, there was not a single complaint from the PPCRV or even from the NAMFREL or even from the media na nagkamali at hindi tama yung result na nakuha ng machine as printed in the election returns and as transmitted by the transparency server. That is the best way of testing the credibility of the system.
I see. Sir, how likely is it na magkakaroon po ng pagkakaiba yung resulta sa canvassing, yung official canvassing, doon sa resulta sa transparency server?
Yeah, based on my experience, I have not seen a difference whatsoever between the result in the transparency
Opo.
So far since 2010 as against the result in the official canvas. But again, for our people, we have to rely on the officially
Opo.
canvas results, which will happen later.
Okay, quickly sir, isisingit ko lang po yung disqualification cases against former Senator Bongbong Marcos. That's supposed to be out today. Sigurado na po ba yun?
Yes, ma'am. I was informed, I was reading my text. In 30 minutes, it will be promulgated.
In 30 minutes, we'll wait for that. We've run out of time. Comelec Commissioner George Garcia, sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us here on this special edition of The Source, the Filipino Votes Elections 2022. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.